You're listening to On the Mic podcast. This is Sarah Quinn.
So first, let's have you introduce yourself to everyone who's watching this or listening
So my name is Sarah Quinn. Currently, I am on air on Hits 100.3 in North Carolina. I'm also the marketing director for that entire cluster in Greensboro, which is 5 stations. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I Twitch on the side, but I've actually been MIA for about 2.5 months now because I've had a lot of life adjustments that I am still adjusting to. So I had to take a step back. So that's who I am.
Hey, let's jump into the first question. It is, how did you get started in radio?
So it's funny. I actually got into radio kind of as an accident. I wanted to be a voiceover actress, but I didn't know how to get into voiceovers. I'm obsessed with video games and cartoons and being silly and voice impressions. Robin Williams was a huge impact on me. And arguably, if I had never met Robin, or not met, I guess discovered, I never got to meet the man, unfortunately. If I never discovered Robin Williams, I probably would have never gotten onto this path of radio because I wanted to entertain and make people happy. So my background is actually in theater, performance, and television and film performance. I actually went to college out in New York City and graduated from an acting conservatory out there. And I wanted to be in film. But obviously that didn't work. Television and film is a completely different beast. And so then I thought, okay, I'll try radio. That's got to be easier, right? It's not easier. I went back to school then at Kent State University. I majored in broadcast journalism and I double minored in audio production, theater, and stage performance. And I was the first one, fun fact, I was the first one from Kent State University to graduate with a minor in theater and stage performance.
Wow, that's awesome.
You're welcome. And so while I was going to school there, I was like, well, acting didn't work out, so this has to work out. So I talked to my academic advisor and I was like, I want to get in as soon as I can. I want to start getting to radio as soon as I can. They said, well, you have to wait till your sophomore year. Sorry, you can't intern with radio stations. We won't sign off on it. And I went, that's fine. So I went and I got 2 internships when they told me I wasn't allowed. And when it came around to my junior year, my academic advisor, and you also get assigned a professor as well. They're like, okay, it's time to meet and talk about possible internships for you. And I said, I got it. And they said, what do you mean? We have nothing on file. I said, I know. You guys told me I wasn't allowed. So I went and did it.
Wow.
And they said, you can't do that. And I said, well, that's funny because I've been doing it for a year and a half. And I was interning at WKSU, which is an NPR station. I was a production assistant. And I was interning at a top 40 station, WHBC in Canton, Ohio at the same time.
Wow.
And also had a college radio show. It was called The Toy Box. It was awesome.
Wow.
So I actually got hired full-time. My first gig in radio was a production assistant and an on-air announcer for an NPR station in Kent State.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
It was pretty great. Then the day after I graduated, I was hired by the top 40 full-time as a morning show producer and also as a promotions assistant. And from there, my career just snowballed. I was put on nights as a nighttime DJ. And then when everything happened with my station, I became the morning show producer for a syndicated show and was given my own time slot during like the day and not overnight. While also I was promoted to being the marketing director for my cluster because my predecessor retired. And that journey all started in 2014.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
That's how I got my start.
I like that. That's awesome. That's amazing.
It was a journey.
Wow. That sounds like a crazy journey, but that's awesome where you are now.
It was a lot.
It's crazy.
Yeah. The biggest thing I have to say to anybody that's trying to make it in this industry, you are going to be told no a lot. You are going to be told you can't do it a lot. Your worth will be questioned along with your talent and your abilities. Everybody's got an opinion.
Yeah.
Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody, and I'll tell you something else, just because somebody thinks whatever you're doing isn't working or it's stupid or whatever else, I guarantee you there are 15 other people that would kill to have someone like you in their building. So just because someone doesn't agree with what you're doing or think that you're talented or whatever else doesn't mean that you don't have skills or worth. It just means you haven't found a good fit for yourself yet. And when the time is right, you need to get out and find a place. I'm very blessed where I work now. Fantastic and amazing people. And it's a new challenge because it's 5 different stations and they're bringing me in as more of a creative mind. And I've had a blast my first 2 weeks here.
Wow. So, that's amazing.
Yeah, they're pretty great.
That's good. That's awesome. I hope it was like, I hope it's amazing. It's like an amazing company, and like most of the people like want to work there and be a DJ and all that. So that's amazing that you're like they're all ready and all that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And they're really great. Like the team that I walked into, they already have established, their own way of doing things and such, but they're super open to my suggestions and stuff. And even though I've been in my career for close to a decade now, that doesn't mean that I'm done growing or learning or changing.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing that I found for this place is they have so much that they can teach me, which is exciting. If you want to keep growing in your career, like it always cracks me up when people are like too big for their britches in a way and they don't want to take suggestions or whatever else. I'm like, then why are you still in this career? Move on to something else. If you already have all of the skills that you need and you have conquered this industry, why are you still in it?
Yeah.
Go somewhere else. And if you have conquered this industry, why aren't you using it to help elevate other people?
Yeah, I like that. That's awesome. Then the other question is, what do you love about the radio industry?
2 things. First one, 100% entertaining people. I love to entertain people.
Yeah.
If you can't tell, I'm kind of a ham. I'm kind of a ham. I kind of love attention, admittedly. My boyfriend and I have an inside joke that if I don't get enough attention, I demand it. I'm worse than the animals that come up and paw for pets. Like I am bad, admittedly. But I also like to make people laugh. I like to have an impact on people's lives, a positive impact that makes them think and wonder, or makes them laugh, or makes them giggle, or makes them like, even just for a second, like I did that. And that was the second that I generated some sort of a positive spike in your body. And that is great. The second reason why I love radio is radio can do something that television, movies, and TV cannot.
Yeah.
They can give you the tips and tools and resources for like things that you may need, but they can't connect you and put a face to like nonprofits in your area, or people that need help, or people that could use help or resources for you if you're down on your luck, or if you just want to help out and improve. TV sort of can, local news stations, but they're so expensive. They're not within reach for the little guy. They're just not. And there's so many other regulations and things like, of course, radio needs to make a profit too, but in my opinion, they're a little bit more community minded. And that is a big deal to me. I want to see the people that I can help. I want to see the people that I can affect. And with radio, TV, it's so, you're on television. You do the weather. You report on these stories. You do this, you do that, you do this, you do that. News is the biggest comparison to what radio is, a local news show. Okay. They don't go out and do remotes and have fun. They don't do stupid stuff to make you laugh. They don't go to the local barn sanctuary and have a cool thing where they raise money for the sanctuary, but also have a cool event where you can bring your kids, and it's an event where they can learn about animals and things like that. They don't involve themselves in the same way. And radio, I feel like, is more personable, and it touches the people that listen to it. And it's free and it's more accessible. For me, I want to be able to make an impact on the world around me. And in order to do that, I feel like radio gives the people involved with it more freedom to do that.
I like that. That's awesome. What do you like about getting to be a radio DJ?
The entertainment aspect.
That's good. Like that.
Making people laugh, being stupid, being fun. Being corny. It's so funny. I actually did a break on the air yesterday that my PD yelled at me about because I was so corny. I was like, you like it. But being able to know that I'm entertaining people and making their day, especially if they win a prize. Oh my God. The people that I got as winners today were fabulous. But knowing that I'm being a companion throughout the day for people, even if it's just for a second. I'm still able to someone that they hang out with.
That's good. I like that. And then what do you like about getting to like talk to the listeners? What do you like about that?
Biggest thing is getting to know people. So I have a million stories to tell, and I love telling my stories. I do it for a living.
Yeah.
But I also like to hear other people's stories. It's interesting to hear about other people's experiences and walks of life and what's going on in their life and how radio has affected them or why they tune into the radio.
Yeah.
As a marketer and a promotional person, that helps me figure out different markets or promotions that will help my area or that will be able to really reach and touch and help people.
Yeah.
As an on-air personality, that allows me to know the kind of things that you want to hear. What stuff resonates with people? What stuff doesn't resonate with people?
Yeah.
One of my favorite things that I ever came up with, it was called Mindful Moments. And I basically took all of this stuff that I was learning in therapy about letting go, being present in the moment, and all these things that used to really mess with my anxieties and my self-worth. And I would take that and I would transfer it and put it on air. And I would call it Mindful Moments. I would give people, thoughts about maybe something going on in their life and how they can adjust it healthily, their thought process of it, and how they can be forgiving of themselves, They don't have to be hurtful to themselves. And that was my favorite segment that I ever did. We'll see if I do it again, but yeah, doing stuff like that and knowing that people are hearing and listening and being like, oh, okay. I didn't know. The other thing about radio is, unfortunately, a lot of people don't interact as much anymore. Our world is changing. People don't call anymore unless they're trying to win something. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
But when I left my previous station, there were some people that actually wrote on the Facebook page asking where I was, which was cool, meant a lot to me. That doesn't happen a lot. There's so many changes in radio. And then some people actually said, I'm going to miss her Mindful Moments.
Aww.
And that meant a lot to me.
Aww.
That meant the world to me.
That's awesome. That's amazing. And then do you recommend like going to college, like to get into radio? Do you think that's important or like?
That's a good question, hon. Okay, this is how I'm going to put it.
Okay.
I chose the college track.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need college to get into radio, but, and that's just, I have to say that. That being said, the easiest way to get a door into radio is through college because they like interns.
Yeah.
And if you're a kick-ass intern, that's a perfect first step into it. What's more important in radio, to be honest, is networking.
Yeah.
And don't bullshit network. Really care about the people that you're talking to.
Yeah.
I care about the people that I've met and talked with and networked.
Yeah.
And I've helped them where I can, and they've helped me where they can. Network with the intention of making actual true friends in the business.
Yeah.
And if you get a job out of it or a reference out of it, that's gravy. But if you really truly want to get into this business, but you don't want to get into it to actually be a genuine person and to make friends, if you're really good at bullshitting, you'll still get into it. And there are some of those out there, but you will never truly have a real connection to this industry. This is a heart industry. This is a heart industry. This is a real industry. This is a personable industry. And if you really want to be part of what I want radio to be and make a really amazing movement of people and individuals that are in it for the good stuff, make connections. If you're not in it for that, I don't have much advice for you. you'll probably be able to still somehow get into it. There's people of all walks of life in here. But if you want to do it right, and if you want to be part of this hopefully changing culture that I feel like I'm a part of, and I feel like my friends are a part of, like Radio Fam, Marie, she's definitely a part of that. Positive change and influence, and giving everyone the spotlight, and really being friends and caring about others. Sean's part of that. Kira, you know, everyone that's part of the Free for All family. They're all part of that. And it's important for anyone thinking of getting into radio to really look at yourself and see, why am I getting into radio? So that's a long-winded answer to your question.
That's good. I like that question. I like the answer. It's awesome.
Very long-winded, but college is an expensive way to get into it, but it will open doors. But you don't necessarily need college to get into it. But one other thing, and this is coming from someone that loves radio. Always have a backup plan. Always have a backup plan. Radio jobs are few and far between, and our worlds are getting smaller. And in the case that something awful should happen, go to college, but also go and study something that can be applicable to something else besides radio. I was lucky. I did not do that, but I fell in love with marketing and promotions. Have a backup, because radio is unpredictable. Radio is unpredictable. I am lucky. I did not go to school for anything except for acting and performance, which was a bad idea. Do not follow in my footsteps. I was lucky. I fell into and fell in love with marketing and promotions, and someone decided to give me a chance with marketing and promotions. I am very blessed. Absolutely very blessed. So if you do go to college, if you decide to go to college, take my word for it, get a minor that is outside of radio or something. Or if you can, if you're a super hard worker, if you've got the money for it, double major. Not everyone is as lucky as I am to fall into something where you get to be both part of programming and marketing. Like, I know how blessed I am. Not a second goes by where I don't remember how blessed I am. And the other thing too is, in college, that's where you start your networking, and that's where you start exchanging creative ideas and cool things. You know, that's where that starts. And college is it's almost like training wheels. You don't go to college, you're going to start right out without training wheels on a two-wheel bike, which you can still learn how to ride a bike, but there's going to be lots of bumps and bruises along the way. You'll still get bumps and bruises with your training wheels, but not as much.
I like that. And then what is it like in the like marketing and promotions? What was that like and all that? And was it like doing that like now?
It is so much fun. Okay. Picture being able to think of a really cool event. Like, you go to an event, you're like, oh my God, this is such a blast. Oh, it's so much fun. But instead of going to that event, you get to be a part of making it and creating it. It is your baby. It is your thing. You get to make connections in the community. You get to be creative from the get-go. It's like some people paint and create. Some people play music and create. Some people use these crazy ideas that they have and put energy towards making something out of nothing that other people can come to. There's tons of different ways of creating, and marketing is a way to try and touch people's hearts in a creative way. That's what marketing is. So it's being able, it's like, okay, if you're a painter, you get to paint and you get to see your creation after you've finished, right? As a marketing and promotions director, the coolest thing for me is to see an idea that I've had that connects people together and organizations together come to life, and to see that this job that I did, this event that I did, now is the reason why people are having fun or laughing or having an experience or being put in touch with resources that they need. Like, I did that, and that is the coolest thing ever. It's the closest feeling I'll ever have to being president.
I like that. It's good. And then, do you think that interning is important?
Interning, yes, but I'm also biased because I was an intern. And without being an intern, I wouldn't be in radio. But Interning, it depends on where you go.
Yeah.
Interning doesn't pay.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have resources to supplement yourself, it gets tough.
Mm-hmm.
But interning is important to get a taste for the business. And also, you may not like radio.
Yeah.
You may not want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? If you just jump in as your profession, you're stuck, boo.
Yeah.
Interning is great because it allows you to try on different outfits without having to buy anything yet. And it allows you to try on different jobs without having to settle on anything yet. It allows you to see where your skills are and where you could probably be amazing and where you might struggle, or maybe you don't have as much fun. And if you're not having fun and enjoying yourself, especially in radio, which at times can be a really heartbreaking industry, then get out, honey. Interning too, if you decide to be an intern, I want to remind people, just because you're an intern doesn't mean that companies can take advantage of you. It doesn't. You're still a human being with worth.
Yeah.
The thing that kind of makes me go is when radio people, my peers, go, well, you need to pay your dues. That's what I did. Stop it. And you hated it, right? And it made you feel like less than. And then you had imposter syndrome and doubted your abilities because of how some people treated you as an intern because they could. Break the cycle. Break the cycle. Treat interns as people and treat them as one-day professionals. You know, the people that treated me really well while I was an intern, I'm forever grateful to, and I will always be a resource for, you know, as I continue in my career. But the people that didn't treat me well, good luck.
Yeah.
I wish you nothing but the best, but I'm not going to go out of my way. You never know who will continue with this industry and will grow into their career and their roles. Treat everyone like one day they will be your boss.
Yeah.
But even then some, just treat people well because they're people. So interning, I think, is important. I am biased. Once again, I know people that never interned, but were able to get into radio, mostly because of who they knew. Some people because of skill sets that they developed from college. But interning is a smart way to go about it.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. And then because that there's internet radio stations now and that people can like create and make one, like think like in less than like 10 minutes or something like that. Do you think like that like can also kind of help a little bit, like to get like into like radio, like gain into like iHeart or something like that? Like
it all depends. It all depends on what you do with it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell you something. Radio stations and even Hollywood studios and television studios, guess what they're looking at now? They're not looking at demos, some of them are, or air checks, some of them are. They're looking at how many followers do you have on TikTok?
Yeah.
How many followers do you have on Instagram? What's your Twitch stream like? How many followers do you have on Twitch? Because they want to see dollar signs.
Yeah.
And they see that as an activatable audience that you will bring with you to their product and their airwaves. And then they'll be able to turn those into cash dollars.
Yeah.
So it all depends on what you do with your station, whether it's an internet radio station or Twitch streaming, or you want to be an influencer on Instagram. It all depends on what you do with it and how much of yourself you bring to the table, your creativity that you implement to it, what you do. Go outside of the box, break those barriers. And then if you really want to like transfer that over into like, you know, company controlled radio, create demos of your work, create a resume of yourself, make yourself marketable, while at the same time keep continuing your product. I will tell you one thing though, for my streamers and people out there, if you go that route, put it in your contract if you do get hired that all of those things are still yours. All of those assets that you've built are still under your logo and your copyright, and that whoever signs you does not have access to those things, that those are your creations, both before employment and after employment and during employment.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. And then what do you like about iHeart?
I'm still pretty new to the company, so I don't have a lot of items that I can speak on.
Yeah.
I do think it's great, the big events that they do, like the Jingle Bell Ball was just this weekend, and no other radio stations really do huge stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell you that maybe one day getting to work on one of these event teams is a dream of mine, since they noticed me. But I think what they do, the big concerts that they do, and the huge, gigantic, like online stuff that they do is pretty cool. I like that about iHeart. I also like the resources they have for employees. I really enjoy that as well.
That's good. Then what's your favorite thing about getting to work with the coworkers that you are working with right now?
I really love my bosses. They are open to creative ideas and things. They're just good people. And my coworkers, they're funny.
That's
and they're
good.
kind. I really enjoy that. They're all hard workers too. I've got a lot that I'm still learning how things work, and they are all a resource.
Yeah.
And they're all happy to be a resource. They're all very, very kind. So that's the biggest thing I like about where I work now.
That's awesome. That's good. Then who in radio would you like to give a shout out to?
Give a shout out to?
Yeah.
Am I only allowed to pick one person?
You can think. I'll let you, like, if you want to give a shout out to 3 people, you can. If you want
3
to.
people? Only 3 people. Should I do it to my friends, or should I do it to people that I've never met and I want to meet?
You can do it to anyone who you think deserves the shout out. So yeah.
Okay. So the first person I'll give a shout out to is Elvis Duran. Notice me, Sensei. I really like what he does for his on-air segments and bits and things like that. I like his production team. It's very tight and it's fun. And he really brings himself to all of his content, which I appreciate and I like. And I genuinely get the vibe that he cares about his co-hosts, that he cares about the people on his show, that he gives a crap about them. I respect that.
Yeah.
I respect that. The next person I want to give a shout out to, see, you're making me do Sophie's Choice, Jacob. We've got a lot of friends, and no matter what, someone's going to be left out.
Yeah.
And that is evil, Jacob. Okay, I'm going to give a shout out to, I'm going to take the coward's way out, Jacob. I'm telling you right now. For my last 2 bits for shout outs, I'm going to give a shout out to every single person that's part of the Free For All family.
Yeah.
And every single person that has ever guest starred on my Twitch channel of all of my friends.
Yeah. That's good.
That's who I'm going to give a shout out to.
Yay.
All of those people.
Yay.
Because they're all hilarious. And I have been so lucky to stumble into this group of weirdos that is accepted me as one of us.
I like that.
So that's who I'm going to give a shout out to. It's a coward's way out, Jacob, but I don't feel bad about it.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. And then, so what are you, like, when you're not playing like music and talking on air, what are you doing behind the scenes?
So I'm going to be honest, for the past month and a half, I've just been moving. But when I'm not moving, I do paint. I used to draw all the time. I haven't drawn in a long time, but I'm getting back to it. I make jewelry. I also, I make jewelry, play ukulele, as you know. I'm starting to learn keyboard. I am nowhere near anything. I can do 2 chords. That is it. I'm learning. I play lots of video games. Currently, I got back into Animal Crossing because the holiday event's going on right now. I like to watch a lot of television shows while I do that. I also really enjoy reading. I'm a big reader. I love political fantasy novels with a strong female character that have some sort of a cheesy romance beeline to it. Sucker for that stuff. I also work part-time actually still for a nonprofit where I write all of their social media content. So yeah, when I'm not on air, I'm doing that.
That's good. And then the last and important one is, where can everyone follow you and check you out?
You can follow me across the board on my Instagram, on my Twitter, which gets spicy politically sometimes, just as a warning, and on my TikTok. I'm at Sarah on Mic. So that's SARAH on Mic.
Hey, and then where can everyone, like, if they want to listen to you, where can they listen to you on the radio?
Sure. So I'm on Hits 100.3. You can download the iHeartMedia app and listen. Hits 100.3, based out of Greensboro, North Carolina. I'm on from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. every day, Monday through Saturday.
Yay, that's awesome.